American new pope, I have a lot of hope in his role in the future.
Yep, I agree with that. That's great. All right, let's continue on about this topic until we move on to another one. So I want to get everybody's opinion first. Brian, did you have any thoughts about what's going on in the Middle East?
I mean, it's really difficult to talk about this on Clubhouse, let alone anywhere. We've set up the world in this modern, world order where everything's defined by the nation states and the lines don't even start to make sense when you look at any history or anything else. And I think right now you're dealing with a regime in Netanyahu where his own people and his own courts were investigating him for, violating the laws of his own nation state. What's going on in Gaza, every single humanitarian, let alone the West Bank, every single international system that examines it has pretty much come up with the same thing, that there's unfortunately a systemic genocide going on against a group of people. And as somebody who has Jewish ancestry, whatever, people can do the whole anti-Semitic or blame it on that, but the truth is there's a country just like the current regime in the US that seems to be lawless and very inhumane and will do nearly anything for power. And Iran's very complicated. If you all remember the Green Revolution and everything trying to go on over there, you have what the U.S. is trying to create, a repressive, theocratic regime, which I'm not a fan of. But, I have no enmity at all with the Iranian people. Are completely decent humans. I've never met anybody who is Persian or Iranian, however they identify in my real life, who wasn't a very decent person. And I'm sure most of the people were. And the United States really screwed up that country to a great, great deal. Anybody who follows its history, it used to be the cultural, academic, social, even fashion mecca of the entire Middle East. And sad to see the current state of things. So, it's ridiculous. I mean, if you look at any of the analysis, they didn't take out their nuclear sites. They moved their nuclear material. It didn't cripple them. Why we're getting involved. Since when I was a kid, I first got involved with politics during the first Iraq War. Is this president itching after being the president of peace and winning a Nobel Peace Prize just to get a war? I don't know. It's a nightmare, and at the same time, I'm not really supportive of either regime in Iran or in Israel. They're both pretty monstrous on many levels. So I wish both the people of both countries a much better future, where awful people don't use their citizens as pawns and use massive military budgets to harm others so they can stay in power. I hope the conflict ends soon, and it's just tough. And then you get a lot of mediocre, bad takes on here. But the truth is, this is a complicated situation. Iran already threatened to shut the Strait of Hormuz, which would be utterly devastating for the thing most people care about, oil and the economy. So it's I just hope people back off. I'm amazed with the impunity at which Israel and the U.S. were able to bomb Iran. I did not think it would be that easy. And at the same time, it's kind of like North Korea, right? Everybody can bomb the hell out of North Korea, but Seoul's right there. And if Iran really shuts down the strait, then don't listen to fear-mongering and policy and thinking about themselves. That's the thing. So anyway, we'll see, and I hope it's just over.
Thanks, Briar. And first of all, I have to agree with most everything you said, and that is the issue. We have a huge problem with our dear leader, and so does Israel. Israel is being run by what I consider a war criminal, and so is the current Iranian government. And it would be wonderful to snap your fingers and have all three thrown in jail and replaced by democratic governments. That would be optimal. But, we have to do what we have to do. But thanks, Briar. I want to make sure, I want to go to Moose, because I keep saying I'm going to go to Moose next, and keep forgetting. So, Moose, did you have anything you wanted to talk about in terms of Iran or Israel or whatever you want to talk about that's sort of international?
Yeah, thanks, man. Not a lot. I appreciate it, though. I echo and reiterate Briar's sentiments. I don't even think you could say one regime is lesser than two evils. I'm sorry. Okay. it's extremely unfortunate. The fact that Trump is even considering a Nobel Peace Prize is absolute. Like Saturday Night Live couldn't come up with something better than that. I don't know. It's just like we are. Like Trump has taken this country to places that like Reagan hasn't, never even went to. So I don't know. Hopefully this. I don't know if there's been an update for any sort of ceasefire, fragile ceasefire, tentative ceasefire. But yeah, bottom line, hearts and minds are with the innocent pawns, as Breyer put it. The citizens of Iran and Israel who are without power and are literally like running for shelters. I don't know if anyone had heard, but I saw in multiple sources yesterday that apparently like Arab Israelis were being denied access to bomb shelters in Israel.
Oh, jeez.
Yeah. So, it's like food deserts in this country. Apparently, they have bomb shelter deserts in the Arab neighborhoods, and even the ones where they were actually had proximity to, they were physically being denied. So, it's heavy times. So, thanks, man.
And thanks, Breyer. It's very disturbing and disappointing. As a Jew that lives outside of Israel, I'm very disappointed when I hear them backsliding. That's been one of the major the major aspects that show how much Israel as a society and how it was built around democracy, and 20% of the population is Arab, and they participate. They're in the Knesset. They're judges. They're policemen. They're in the army. They're just another ethnic group within the thing, and for them to backslide in any way is not good. It's a bad sign. Anyway, if there's I wanted to go to Steve to find out if there's anything. I know there's always a bunch of legal stuff that's happening, or anything else he wants to talk about, and then I'm going to go to Rick. So, Rick, you are on deck. Steve, is there any of the numerous things that are happening in the courts and legal stuff, and things that you're interested in that you want to sort of talk about or share with us?
More of a plug for later today and tomorrow. There were some Supreme Court opinions released today. It's the penultimate day of the term. Tomorrow will be the final cases, including some blockbusters. I quickly looked at the cases today, but nothing earth-shattering enough to bring it to this room's attention. I am going to do two rooms, one today, one tomorrow. Today I'm going to do a room actually on generative AI, not anything at the Supreme Court level, but there were two opinions in the last couple of days, both out of Northern California, from two different trial judges, taking two very different points of view on the whole argument over whether using copyrighted work to train AI is or isn't fair use. And that's a topic we talk about sometimes in the pre-room walking together. We don't usually talk about that in here. So that's going to be today at 1 o'clock Los Angeles. And then tomorrow at 10 a.m., which I think is more or less right after this room ends, Solutions Friday, I'm going to cover the last day of the term. Tomorrow the opinions will come out in the birthright citizenship case and several other very big cases. So a legal room today, a legal room tomorrow.
Love it. Perfect. Thank you. And thank you for bringing up Solutions Friday. And I just want to double check. I always do this on Thursday. Rick and Andre, are you cool? Are you going to be able to do it tomorrow? Solutions Friday?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're good, Rick? Okay, good. All right, I do want to, all right, before I go to Rick, I wanted to go to, so hang in there, Rick. Where's Dr. Francine? Is she here? Oh, yeah,
Yeah,
you're right
she
there.
is.
Dr. Francine, it's time for your plug for your Karma Club today.
Are you in Arizona?
Karma Club is going to talk about the outgrowth of a conversation we had in Dr. James's room yesterday on ethics and telling the truth and bringing your whole self to work and code switching and all of those kinds of things that that make us wonder whether we are one whole person or several different people, depending on where we happen to be. And this can either be a philosophical conversation or a pragmatic conversation or a little of both, but we really, thank you, David. Navigating reality with a single consciousness. What a great title.
Whoa.
Why don't you give me these titles?
I would,
Do you mean
I would add,
we are like physically or digitally? Sorry, just clarifying. Or graphically?
Both.
all of it, all of it.
All of it. Because it's all connected in theory.
And or with who? Are we different people depending on who we're with?
Of course. Oh, I don't know. Are we? I think it's a very individual decision. And we got to starting to talk. You know, like who voted in the election for New York mayor? You know, is it political people or emotional people or, you know, blacks or Muslims? You know, I have no idea. And the voters probably haven't thought about why they did what they did.